These rocky shores where I call home, where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, it's these rocky shores, it's where I long to be. Yes, it's these rocky shores, they are home to me.
Whenever I leave here, it hurts me so. With tears in my eyes, why go? There ain't no work, and the kids need new clothes. The bills need paying, so I must go.
These rocky shores, where I call home, where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, yes, these rocky shores, it's where I long to be. Yes, these rocky shores, they're home to me.
Where did it all go? The life I once had on the ocean's mighty road. My tears in my eyes and my head in my hands, away from my family, I hope they understand.
That is these rocky shores, where I call home, that's where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, it's these rocky shores, where I long to be. Yes, these rocky shores, they are home to me. Yes, these rocky shores, they are home to me.
Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include the Micmac birch bark canoe caught the eye of many this past week. A moose was on the loose around town last Saturday. The Green Team stopped by to update us on what they're doing. Burgio's second Come Home year is less than 2 weeks away. These stories plus community events, BBS Playbill, Off the Rack, and more coming up after this.
There's gannets and puffins, kittiwakes and murres, guillemots, petrels and owls. And you can see where the eagle has landed. Imagine that.
5 Micmac and a 26-foot birch bark canoe left Conn River on July 7th for Cape Ray. Chief Mizell Joe and his crew are retracing the route taken by their ancestors many years ago. Due to uncooperative weather this past week, the Micmac ended up spending an extra night here in Burgeo. I had the opportunity to speak with Chief Mizell Joe at Gillette's Motel on Wednesday evening. I understand that you left Conn River a few days ago in a birch bark canoe. Was that canoe made in Conn River?
Yes, it was. It was built last year, actually, and it was the 7th that we left Conn River. The evening was 7th.
Okay, so how many of you are in the canoe?
5.
5.
Yeah.
So are the 5 of you rowing at one time or taking turns?
No, most of the time I'm on the stern, so I do the steering especially when we use the sail. But the canoe is a little bit hard to steer because there's no keel on it, and it's 26 feet long. So I try to paddle as much as I can, but most of the time I end up just steering the canoe or trying to keep it on course anyway.
Okay, I know you're being accompanied by a boat at all times, but are the 5 of you in the canoe at all times?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So, how did this journey that you're taking right now, how did that come about?
I suppose, I mean, to properly answer that, you'd have to go back a few years, back in the 80s actually, when I went to Calgary to support Lubicon people who's been pursuing land claims now for the last 50, 60 years, I suppose. And they were boycotting the opening of the Glenbow Museum. And they asked all Aboriginal peoples across Canada to come out and support that boycott. And while I was there, I found out that there was actually a Micmac canoe that was built in Newfoundland in 1879. And it was at the museum, but at the time I was honor bound not to go into the museum and look at it because I was there supporting Lubicon. So about a month later, I did go back and look at the canoe. And the strange thing was I went back with the intentions of raising some awareness. And so a friend of mine and I actually planned to take the canoe and get as far out of the museum as we could with it. But when we got there, it was so heavily guarded, like everything else that was there, that we felt that, well, I don't think we can do that anyway. So we just spent a lot of time touching the canoe, looking at it, and felt a spirit from the canoe. And I guess the vision of the canoe never ever left, the dream of the canoe never ever left. And we was finally able to put that dream into motion last year by building our own canoe, and that's the one we have today.
Okay, so the particular journey that you're making right now with the canoe is significant to the Micmac. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I guess it's significant in many ways. It's significant that we're traveling up this coast, which our people used so many years ago. The other significant part of that is that bringing, I guess, the community closer to understanding, appreciating its own history and its own culture. That brings a community together with a common goal of understanding and appreciation for themselves and for the fine craftsmanship that went into building the canoe. So many things. And brings us back in touch with our forefathers in many ways, spiritually. And one of the places we dropped in, and I literally dropped in, was Richards Harbour along the way. And for the whole time, 2 days that we were there, I felt that there was something there. And we had, of course, eagles visit us every day, which is significant too as well. So it's a fantastic journey, just to paddle the canoe. The other part of that fascinating journey is the spiritual connection that's felt within the community through the canoe itself, and the paddlers themselves. That's a bond that's probably going to last a lifetime, because the vision is not just a single vision anymore. It's a vision of well, it started out with a single vision, but it's a vision of a lot of people today.
Okay, your journey that you're currently on is going to take you to Cape Ray. What are the plans for the canoe once you reach Cape Ray?
Once we get to Cape Ray, weather permitting and the spirits decides to be kind to us, well, hopefully we can make it across to St. Paul's Island. From there to Cape North, and again, time permitting, up the coast to Chapel Island, in Tibidor Lakes. Finally, the destination of our journey is Chapel Island, and that's significant because of Mi'kmaq Nation. We'll be gathered at Chapel Island. We'll have an opportunity to talk to the Grand Chief and other Mi'kmaq people. We also have a gift for the Grand Chief, which was a part of the canoe building itself. The canoe is sealed with bear fat and spruce gum, and so part of the journey has been the bear too as well. So that's bear skin, and only fitting that the bear skin go on to the Grand Chief himself. What he does with it after that, I mean, that's up to him. But that's got to be a part of that journey, that connection.
Okay, I know the canoe has drawn a lot of people here in Burgeo. A lot of people have come to take a look at it. Can you tell us exactly what materials were used in the construction of the canoe?
Of course, we don't have big enough trees, or at least we can't find birch trees big enough in Newfoundland any longer to be able to build a canoe of that size, and or the strength of the bark. So that bark in the canoe comes from Ontario and Quebec, and the cedar comes from Quebec. The other wooding, of course, in Newfoundland was spruce and juniper and hardwood, and the roots that's in it, it's all Newfoundland material. Spruce gum, beer fed, are all Newfoundland material. The canoe is 26 feet long, and it's approximately 42 inches wide. And its carrying capacity is, we haven't really tested it, but we know it's comfortable with 2,000 pounds, and it can probably go to 4 or 5, I'm not sure. It gets a little sluggish, mind you, with any more than 2,000 pounds on it, so we keep a little bit of the weight on the canoe, but not too much because it gets a little sluggish.
Okay, you've got 4 other crew members besides yourself. I guess there were a lot of people that would have liked to have made the journey with you from Conn River to Cape Breton.
Well, last year, it was a little different last year when we brought the canoe to Bay St. George with the intentions of taking it across the Gulf. There was a few people that wanted to travel with us last year, but the list gets longer this year. All of a sudden, everybody wants to get on the canoe. I wish we had the Queen Mary. We could have taken everybody, but unfortunately, there's only room for 5 people. And the other part of that, of course, is that the 3 canoe builders themselves are on the trip. And that's a part of the journey too that they have to take. They built this craft. They have, in a sense, they have to prove the capabilities of this craft, the seaworthiness of the craft. So it's important that they be on this trip. So there's only 2 other seats, and the crew insists that I be on this trip too as well. So when you get down, there's only 1 seat, and yeah, there was a lot of requests, and I've actually had just the day we're leaving, actually, people say, well, okay, if someone decides at the last minute to back, remember, I want to go. But what we've tried to do is say to people, if you want to be part of this trip, then you have to make a contribution, and the contribution is that you've got to be around the canoe. You've got to be part of the canoe. You have to respect the kind of condition that's around the canoe, that there is no foul language used. It's respect for all that we've got, through what I heard. Respect for women, respect for children, respect for the nation. It's got to be part of the journey. So if you're not prepared to do that, then you have no place on the canoe. So that's part of the contribution that you have to make.
Okay, the weather detained you an extra day here in Burgeo. How has the weather cooperated since you left Conn River?
It hasn't been too bad, actually. We out of the days that we spent the 7th of the month, we paddled 4 days out of that. So that got us here. So it hasn't been all that bad, except for a few days with a bit of wind, rain. And the extra day here has been great in the sense that we've got out and met some of the people around, lots of friendly people, lots of good questions, and the spirits always let us know why we have to do those things anyway. We wonder sometimes, but usually the questions and the answers do come. And it's probably meant to be that we be here and get an opportunity to meet a lot of good people here, actually.
Okay, well, we'd certainly like to wish you the best of luck with the remainder of your journey, and we'd certainly like to thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Many residents of Burgeo had the opportunity to view an unusual visitor last Saturday morning and again later that evening. An extension is being constructed on the lower level of the Orange Lodge here in Burgeo. Members of the LOL and LOBA have been fundraising for some time now to construct a kitchen on the lower level of the Orange Lodge. Lodge members volunteered their time for the past 2 weeks to begin the construction of the new kitchen. Residents of Burgeo were left without water for most of Thursday due to a leak in the main water line. An unexpected leak in the community's main water line left residents without water for most of Thursday. Council workers were doing some work here just clear of the trailer court when they found a leak in the town's main water line. Water had to be shut off so the leak could be repaired. Water was restored to the community later Thursday afternoon. Council workers are busy trying to repair all the damaged water lines before the new paving is done around town. Stay with us. There's more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
It's a land with over 10,000 miles of coastline, thousands of inlets, coves, guts, and bays. A land that lives by the sea. No wonder our dogs have webbed feet. Imagine that.
In less than 2 weeks, Burgeo's second Come Home Year will be getting underway. Plans for the event are being finalized by the Sand and Sea Come Home Year Committee. With a permanent stage under construction at Sandbanks Provincial Park, the stage normally used at the park has been set up at the hockey rink. Members of the Sand and Sea Committee, as well as students hired for the summer and volunteers, have been busy putting tarps around the rink for the outdoor dances which will be held there. Most of the plans for this summer's festivities have been finalized. In less than 2 weeks, things will be getting underway at Burgeo's second Come Home Year. Members of the Green Team stopped by our studio this past week to give us an overview of what the Green Team is all about. Speaking with me in the studio today, I have the recently hired Green Team here from Burgeo, Francis Young, Tyler Benight, Sherry Billard, and Chris Rose. And we also have Paul Barter, the Western Regional Supervisor with the Conservation Corps. Francis, as leader of the Green Team, I'm going to pass things over to you now, and you can tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Thank you. Since we started here on our project, we've been getting a lot of questions. What is the Green Team? Where do they come from? So we're going to discuss that today and let everybody in Burgeo know what the Green Team is and why we're doing what we're doing. Paul Barter, our Regional Supervisor, is going to start. He's just going to tell about the Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador, which the Green Team is a program in that Corps. So.
The Conservation Corps started in 1992, and since that time there's been over 600 people go through various programs with the Conservation Corps. The Conservation Corps has 3 main programs, one being the Green Team program, which Tyler will discuss a little later. We also have an environmental leadership program, and this chooses 6 individuals from Newfoundland and Labrador and sends them to Costa Rica, where they work on community enhancement and environmental projects in Costa Rica, a developing country. And from there, they take their experiences and knowledge that they gain in Costa Rica, and they come back to Newfoundland and work as team leader with one of the various Green Team projects in Newfoundland. As well, recently we just started a volunteer and alumni program, and this lets people who have been involved with the Conservation Corps to stay involved throughout the year. They travel to various schools and just keeps educating the public throughout the year about the environment. Our mandate is to provide youth of the province with a meaningful work experience, and our goals are to enhance and restore Newfoundland and Labrador's natural and cultural resources.
How long have you been involved with the Conservation Corps?
This is my second year with the Conservation Corps. I started last year as a team leader in the Winterland area. I worked on an eco museum there, and we did some trail enhancement and some plant identification, as well as some wildlife surveys. And I just enjoyed my experience so much with the Conservation Corps that this year a position came open for the regional supervisor. So I had applied, and luckily I got the job here. So this summer now I'm working out of Port Bass, and me being from the East Coast, it's a totally new experience working in Western Newfoundland and coming to Burgeo and meeting new people and just seeing a whole different area of the province. And the Corps has just given me that opportunity, and it's been great.
The Green Team program is probably the biggest program of the Conservation Corps and TWIR system. Tell us what that's all about now.
The Green Team program is entering its 6th year of implementing programs this year. This program makes for a fun and enjoyable work experience. Certain aspects of the Green Team program, such as training and EADs, makes the job more than just a job. There are 3 different jobs related to the Green Team program. One is regional supervisor, that's Paul, team leader, that's Fran, and team members, that's Sherry, Chris, and myself. The regional supervisor assumes responsibility for completing the planning and scheduling of Green Team projects, meeting with project proponents, and conducting site visits. The regional supervisor assists the Green Team in any way possible. Team leader is the day-to-day supervisor for the Green Team. This person is responsible for the conduct of work undertaken by team members. The leader assures that work is done properly and that projects run smoothly. Team members also play an important part of the Green Team. These people follow directions given by team leader and make positive contributions to the projects undertaken. I found that about the Green Team when I attended a environmental conference in Steamville last year. I've seen it at work, it seemed pretty interesting, so I've seen the job come up this year, so I applied for it. Luckily I got it, and now it's an excellent job. I think it's going to be a good learning experience.
Thanks. That's the Green Team program, and now Chris is going to explain our particular project in Burgeo for the Green Team.
The proponent for our Green Team project is the Burgeo Diversification and Development Board. This board is a non-profit organization which has a 9-member board of directors. The mandate for this board is to work in conjunction with the Economic Development Officer and with groups, organizations, and individuals to implement a strategic economic plan for Burgeo. This group is responsible for developing the proposal for this year's Green Team project. Our project involves the team building a fence around and restoring the gravesite that exists at Sandmakes Provincial Park. We are also required to research the family names of the people that are buried here. We will also research some of the vegetation at the park. This information will then be compiled into a pamphlet to be left at the park as a reference to anyone that would like one. We are also required to hold 5 environmental awareness days.
Okay, Sherry's going to explain Environmental Awareness Days for us.
Environmental Awareness Days are days that Green Teams have to promote good environmental habits, provide information on environmental problems, and promote the Conservation Corps. Environmental Awareness Days involve people of all ages with activities and displays suitable to people of all ages. Green teams are responsible for conducting 5 Environmental Awareness Days throughout the summer. Our first Environmental Awareness Day is this panel discussion to promote our project and the Conservation Corps. Our second Environmental Awareness Day will be held during the Sand and Sea Festival at St. Nick's Park. During the day we will be promoting the recycling of waste at the festival. It will involve games for children and hikes to the cemetery site. The games that we have for children will be fun games, but they will teach children about environmental issues. One game called Oh Moose will teach children that animals need food, water, and shelter in order to survive. And when food, water, and shelter fluctuate, the number of animals fluctuates. Our third Environmental Awareness Day will be an environmental camp for kids. The date for this is not being decided yet, but it will be held at the Brightside Youth Center on Saturday afternoon. We are also planning on doing an Environmental Awareness Day at Ramya during the Rock Island Festival. It will be similar to the Environmental Awareness Day held at St. Nick's during the Sand and Sea Festival, except of course there won't be any hikes to the cemetery site. Our last Environmental Awareness Day will be an open house day at our finished site. Information about the Conservation Corps and research that we will be doing on families that used to live in Sand Nick's and on the vegetation there will be available. And this will be held around August 20th or August 21st.
And that explains the Green Team and the Conservation Corps. At this point, I would like to say that you'll also see an Enviro quote from us each week on BBS, just to get everybody thinking about environmental issues and stuff. And that I would like everyone would try and attend our Environmental Awareness Days if they can, and get involved in it. And you'll start seeing posters advertising those Environmental Awareness Days next week.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank you for coming in and giving us an update, and we invite you back anytime you want to get any kind of message across. Our system's always available for your use.
Thank you.
Stay with us for Off the Rack, community events, and the BBS Playbill. All that after this.
Icebergs drift south. Humpbacks migrate to the north. This is the place where their paths cross. They say you can't see the icebergs for whales. Imagine that.
Off the Rack. This week as we scanned our tape racks, we came across a video from 1 year ago as the replica of John Cabot's vessel, Matthew, made its way to the Sea Freeze Wharf, kicking off the largest celebration here in Burgeo since our first come home year. Here's a look back now to July 15th, 1997.
Take me back to my western boat. Let me fish off Cape St. Mary's, where the hagdown sails and the foghorns wail. With my friends, the Browns and the Clarys, let me fish off Cape St. Mary. Let me feel my dory live to the broad Atlantic comber, where the tide rip swirls and the wild ducks whirl, where old Neptune calls the number, neath the broad Atlantic combers. Let me sail up Golden Bay with my oilskins all a-streaming from the thunder squall when I haul me trawl. the beach is all glisten, with the Capeland spawn, we're from dusk to dawn. You bait your trawls and listen to the undertow hissing. Last big show, where the ground swells break asunder, where the wild sands roll to the surge's toll. Let me be a man and take it when my dory fails to make it. Take me back to that snug green cove, where the seas roll up their wonder. There let me rest in the earth's cool breast, where the stars shine out their wonder, and the seas roll up their thunder. Take me back to my western home. Let me fish off Cape St. Mary's, where the hagdown sails and the foghorns wail, with my friends, the Browns and the Clearys. Let me fish off Cape St. Mary's.
Good evening and welcome to the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm Rena Green. The Hot Job Squad will be holding a TV bingo on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each or 6 for $5 and can be purchased from any member of the Hot Job Squad or by calling Amanda at 886-3389. The RCMP reminds everyone that the driver and all passengers in a vehicle are required to wear their seatbelts. The RCMP will be making stops and checking to see that everyone is buckled up. Individuals not wearing their seatbelts will be ticketed. Warnings will not be issued. Seatbelts can only save lives if they are worn. Any midget and bantam hockey players interested in trying out for the Cornerbrook AAA hockey team for the 1998-99 season are asked to please call Ruth Tucker by July the 23rd. Tryouts will be held on July 31st and August 1st. The registration fee is $50. If your group or organization has an upcoming event planned, we will be happy to advertise it for you. You can contact BBS office by Wednesday of each week to have items included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's program. See you next week.
BBS Playbill. Try your luck on Wednesday at 7 p.m. by playing Odd Job Squad TV Bingo. Following bingo, we'll have Right from the Start. This video, which helps teenagers define abuse and prevent violence in dating relationships, is brought to us by the Help Committee. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper. Good night.